about Nana Akufo he is expected to launch the National Planting for Food and Job program in Goso in the Sunafo municipality in the Bonohafo region on the 19th of April 2017, which is actually tomorrow. The program, we are told, will be focusing on how the current administration would boost agriculture for farmers, and people who are involved in whichever way with agriculture would get some advantage. And so here are some of the highlights of what the current administration has said with regard to the launch of the job for foods, foods for job. And it goes on to say that the Minister of Agric, Dr. Asiedu-Dartey, has already announced plans for the launch and says that it is going to be placed mainly on the key campaign promises they've made, and that will be the tagline, planting for food and jobs. And it will be launched tomorrow. The program would start the next farming season, and it is expected to create some 750,000 jobs for the youth of the country. And next also it says that it is to generate more wealth in the agriculture sector to be able to improve the livelihood of our farmers and fisher folk. It is modeled around the Operation Feed Yourself campaign that was launched in the 70s to make Ghana a self-sufficient country with regard to food supply. Government is also looking at boosting agriculture, not just that, but then also specific focus on cocoa to make Ghana a lead exporter of cocoa. Again, we fell to number 2 on the African continent following Cote d'Ivoire's upsurge, but it looks like government intends to boost our production so we can export. And ahead of the launch, though, my colleague Addo has met with the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Owusu-Afriyie-Akoto, and has been putting a few questions to him with regard to the launch and what government intends to do with the agri sector. Edward, take it away.
Our government will be launching a very key project under this very government. Its name is Planting for Food and Jobs, and it is going to ensure that about 750,000 people are employed. And of course, government is sinking in some amount of 500 million Ghana cedis into that to ensure that that project become a reality. I have with me the Honorable Minister who is in charge of implementing it, Dr. Owusu-Afriyie-Akoto, going to help us to discuss this very Planting for Food and Jobs. Now, Honorable, we know that you are going to create jobs for 750,000 people and over. How are you going to ensure that these people are engaged, and what processes are these people going to go through?
First of all, the event tomorrow signifies the official beginning of a campaign to transform the economy of Ghana, which is the vision of the President Nana Addo Akufo Addo. So this planting season, we have selected over 200,000 farmers who are going to be assisted to grow 5 selected crops, that is rice, maize, soya, sorghum, and a selection of vegetables. These 200,000 farmers or so are spread across the 216 districts of this country. The arrangement for extension services are such that we've had 1,200 former students who have graduated from our 5 agricultural colleges and are sitting at home doing nothing. We've employed 1,200 of them and have given them the necessary in-house training, and they are going out there being to the various districts to supervise the work of the farmers. We are providing them with logistics, including motor bicycles and other amenities to enhance their, facilitate their work. The seeds required for this program are already out in the field being distributed to the farmers in the southern region because the rains have set in, to be followed by those in the northern sector when the rains come at the end of May, June. The government has also resolved to in support of the market, to build 1,000 metric ton warehouse capacity in each of the 216 districts to ensure that we have enough storage capacity to store and market the expected increases that we expect from this program. 200,000 farmers these are just the initial pilot scheme, because you have to understand that there are nearly 5 million farmers and fishermen, and the program will be expanded steadily over the 4 years, so that by 2020, at least half of the 5 million farmers will be on board with this program. This year, we expect that with these interventions, only the 200,000 or so farmers will be able to increase the demand for jobs on the farms themselves and create 750,000 jobs. So that is the general outlook. And tomorrow's lunch will be something that is going to officially announce the beginning of such a strategic event.
All right. Finally, just before you go, we know tomorrow you are launching it at Goso in the Bonafo region. What are preparations? How far are preparations?
The National Organizing Committee and the local organizing committee for the event have done very well. My acting chief director is moving with the deputy ministers and so on to join colleagues who have pitched camp in Gosu for the last few days to ensure that we have a very successful lunch.
All right, we're grateful. We've been speaking to Dr. Owusu Akoto. He's the Minister for Food and Agriculture, and he's been speaking to us about the planting for food and jobs, which kickstarts tomorrow, or is going to be launched tomorrow at Goso in the Bonafo region. And it is expected to create about 750,000 jobs, having injected some 500 million Ghana cedis as budget allocation for this very project. Back to you in the studios.